It's your girl Anita Gill. I'm back with another reaction video. Now, just as soon as I thought I was finished with Brian Laundrie, those laundries are back in the news again. There is a new report reveals grisly detail of Brian Laundrie. Y'all, they have found a new autopsy on Brian Laundrie. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna react to this video. I'm not buying it. If Brian got away with it the first time with the police, I'm not buying this story for some reason. I think allegedly that Brian is still alive. Because why did Dog leave? Why did Dog? If Dog had stayed out there, this story would be so easy on me. But I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I'm not talking about. He's this guy here comes on the show and start reading us a long sheet of paper. We're not interested in that paper. We want to see Brian Laundrie. I don't allegedly. I don't think nothing happened to Brian. So let's hear and let's break it down, y'all.
A new 47-page report on Brian Laundrie's final moments at Florida's Carlton Reserve with new information on what investigators found, including a wooden box, several photographs, and a handwritten half-note. Plus, what information Brian Laundrie's parents declined to give the ME's office about their son. We're going to get into it here, everybody, on WFLA Now. JB Buno here with you live alongside, of course, WFLA's senior investigator, Walt Buteau. Great to have Walt back on stream. And Walt,
You mean to tell me? Okay, y'all. I'm not buying this story. I'm not saying that the parents knew what was going on, but the parents had an idea what was going on. Somebody know what was going on. Brian communicates with somebody very well. I'm not buying this story. For some reason, it is strange. I think Brian's still out there.
I've been combing through this 47-page report. Let's just, before we get into the details of the report, let's remind folks that the big piece of information came back in January when the FBI released their summary of their investigation. And I'll read, of course, the most important line that we have in that report, and it says, upon further search of the area, investigators found human remains, later confirmed to be Mr. Laundrie, along with a backpack, notebook, and a revolver. A review of the notebook revealed written statements by Mr. Laundrie claiming responsibility for Miss Petito's death. That from the FBI back in January, and now
Okay, y'all. Writing something down not helping us. I think somebody covering Brian. It's a cover up.
what we expect in the months ahead, more subsequent reports, data dumps, document dumps to come out, and this is one of them from the Florida District 12 Medical Examiner's Office detailing the discovery of human remains at Florida's Carlton Reserve, and then, of course, the subsequent identification of those remains. Walt, what's your biggest takeaway in reading through these pages?
So I think one thing that we didn't realize, a couple things actually. The type of revolver it was, a 38 caliber. Although oddly, it seems like a cross between a 38 caliber and a 457, and it was a snub nose weapon. We know now that.
Y'all, think about it, people. The little small area where they are located, they had to be on that side looking for Brian. But you know what? I noticed on the news, every time they look for Brian, looked like they were just in one spot. Somebody kept them in one area. But the parents allegedly went over there and just got everything that belongs to Brian. I think someone is hiding Brian out, and I'm gonna continue to say that.
We also know we knew he was shot once, but we know there were two other live rounds left in the bullet. And I think it's interesting that the vast majority, quoting the report now, the vast majority of the skeleton has been recovered. So they had most of the body. We sort of had some confusion because we had heard a jawbone and teeth were sent in to be examined. And that's true, but they did discover, again, most of the skeleton. And we also know that by 4:30, the day after the remains were found, that they had positively identified Brian Laundrie. And you said it, I think, that second notebook. Think about that, a small second notebook.
I want to get into that.
A second notebook and a handwritten half note. What does that mean?
I don't know what that means.
A half written half note. Brian knew what he was doing. Allegedly, Brian knew exactly what he doing. Brian knows exactly what he's doing. I don't know, y'all. I'm not buying this story.
Right.
But there was, okay, so let's break this down. And again, we have the full document here. We've been reading through it. It's pretty dense, and it does have it's got a lot of new, smaller pieces of information. And a lot of these nuggets, Walt, a few months back would have been this grand revelation, but now they're just smaller breadcrumbs, if you will, piecing together this puzzle that was Brian Laundrie ending up being not too far away from home, being at Florida's Carlton Reserve. A big thing, we're going to get into the journal, the notebook, the handwritten half note, all of that. But one of the big things as well was when Brian Laundrie's remains were originally, when we had the discovery of a partial human skull, that was the breaking news report that we had on WFLA Now. We had team coverage, our live stream, of course, across Facebook and YouTube. When that report came out, there was a sizable amount of people that didn't believe that it was Brian Laundrie. And even after they came out and they said that they identified...
And I'm one of them. I don't believe Brian is dead. I don't believe those are Brian body parts. Allegedly. I don't believe that those are Brian body parts. This autopsy is just a whole makeup.
That it was Brian Laundrie through dental records. There were still folks on the internet, conspiracy theorists abound.
Me. I'm one of them.
Saying that it was not Brian Laundrie. But when you go now into this report, it wasn't just the skull that was found. It wasn't a few pieces of bone here and there. They found almost the entirety of Brian Laundrie's skeleton. And of course, the DNA analysis that would be done weeks later would later identify that it was, in fact, it would confirm what we already knew, that this was Brian Laundrie, and then, of course, the cause of death later on revealed to be suicide by self-inflicted gunshot wounds to the head.
Yeah, and they detail, not to get too gruesome, every bone that was.
People, I just don't believe Brian will kill himself. I just don't think Brian would kill himself. Why would he run? Why would he leave? Why would he do it this way? They claim they didn't see anything belongs to Brian out there. Now everything coming up for Brian. What they did was clear the evidence out that house to cover up for those people. Allegedly. But think about it.
Was found.
They do. And some other grisly details that we'll discuss.
We may discuss, but we won't include in our TV story. It's something we would have guessed, I think, just because of where if he was. But I think also of note, I think that I think is important that part of this, we just got this report today, but part of it was just completed on February 4th of this month. So part of it was just completed. That's toxicology. I think we had asked people, well, did they do a drug screen? Did they do a toxicology? And they did, and there were no drugs found in Brian's system. But again, that information was not finalized until the 4th of February.
Of course, Mr. Good Guy don't have drugs in his system. Allegedly. Mr. Good Guy did nothing wrong. I haven't heard not one thing that Brian did nothing wrong. What did he do wrong? Besides kill Gabby. What's going on for what did Gabby know that nobody know? Let's talk about Gabby. It seems like he's Brian is allegedly the victim here.
So that people again that can, not to speak to those folks, but again, theoretically, why did it take so long? Well, maybe it didn't take that long relatively to everything. It's a very detailed report, 47 pages long, and again, like you said, including a lot of details. I'm really focused on that wooden box containing a small notebook and photographs. Quoting here, some of the photos include Brian Laundrie, which could give you, obviously, when they come up on the scene and they see a body, they're looking for a body, and they see a box, it's got the suspect's picture in it. they probably had a pretty good idea of who it was at that moment.
And the note, we're going to talk about the notebook for a moment, folks. We want to let you know you can use the hashtags you see on the yellow stripes on the left and right side of your screen. You might see in the pinned comment below, as we do on WFLA Now. Hello to Facebook, hello to YouTube. Hope you're having a good day. You can use those hashtags, hashtag HJB, hashtag HWalt. That's your way, of course, interactively of joining the conversation. We can bring up some of your comments. Many of you have probably read through a little bit of this 47-page report, or maybe you've read it in its entirety just because so many people have been really laser focused on this story from day one. And those folks, who have just continuously asked.
People, this is a reaction channel, and that's what we're going to do. I did a story on Brian and Gabby way back. I am not behind this story. When this first happened, everyone and their mama knew that Gabby was in trouble. Why didn't the police feel that she was in trouble like the way we feel? I'm not behind this autopsy with the 47 pages. And then they brought it back up. Oh my God. Y'all, I got to skip this. I have to skip it because I'm getting upset. I'm worrying about Gabby's family now. Because they are the victim. Their daughter.
It has to have something on it that we hopefully will see someday to sort of fill in the blanks.
Nuevo Clorox Disinfecting Mist.
All up. Let me skip this commercial. Oh boy. Y'all, we need to talk. We need to react to this. This is too much for me to handle. I love myself some Gabby. Let's react to this.
There's an additional breadcrumb dropped of something that makes us just kind of scratch our head and go, what is that? Well, and why is that mentioned here so specifically? Again, it's called a handwritten half note, and we have no idea what its contents are. We don't even know who wrote it. We don't know if it was written at the reserve. We don't know if it was a note given to him by somebody else for him to hold on to. We have no idea what this handwritten half note is, and it could have zero to do, like nothing to do whatsoever with Gabby Petito. So let's make that very clear. And then also too, and I'll bring up the comment here that just came in from Stephanie. And again, we are still reading through your hashtag HJB, hashtag HWalt questions and comments.
Okay, what we are going to react to this, y'all. Put down in the comment, what do you think? Do you believe this story? Are you buying this story about the animal, a grizzly? Oh, just attack. Don't you know how Brian know how to survive in the wilderness out there? So many people thought they saw Brian. People thought they saw Brian. And if dog had stayed on the scene, I would appreciate that. They get hurry up and did something to get rid of dog. Cause dog really was on it. Soon he came out there, Brian body shows up. Soon the dog came out there, Brian body showed up. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Do y'all think Brian's still alive? I do. Allegedly, I think Brian is still alive. My thing is, what is it that they had? They took all the evidence, allegedly they took all the evidence out the house. Y'all, first of all, let's do this. This is a reaction channel. We react to videos. The disclaimer. We're gonna talk about this disclaimer, fair use. Is for criticism, commenting, news reporting, teaching, educating, and research and scholarships. I did this story back on Brian and Gabby, and I was on point with it. But some letter half note, what that means? How do we know that then nobody else write that note? Yeah. How do we know that then Brian's life can be in danger? How we know? How I just can't believe Brian body all over the area like that. And y'all been out there the whole time. Y'all ain't seen no grizzly bear. Let's talk about this, y'all. Let's talk about this. Let me ask you something. Do y'all think Brian? How did they go by that toxicology? Oh god, the toxicology, y'all. I just don't buy it. I just don't buy it. It's something. It's keep leading my mind. Used to make my mind lead. Something lead my mind that something's just not right. Y'all tell me down in the comment. What do y'all think? Do y'all think Brian Laundrie's still alive? And they somebody make him write that half letter, half note. That don't even make sense. Y'all tell me what you think in the comment section. This is your girl, Anita Gill. Like, share, and subscribe.